Hello and welcome to Red Podcast, where we bring you bold conversation about development, entrepreneurship, and opportunities from Africa and beyond. I am ready, and today's episode is dedicated to 2025 Global Peace Index. What tell us about Africa? What are the changes, and what does it mean for the continent and for us? Yeah, we will dive into the peace, how the peace is measured, highlight the wins and the losses in Africa, discuss the major drive of change, and close reflection on what it means for our continent and for you in general. Yeah. So to start with, Global Peace Index was established in 2007, releasing the first index in 2008 by the Institution of Economy and Peace. That it's an Australian think tank, and also the founder is called Steve Kelele. It involves about 163 countries all over the world. That covers about 99.7% of the population, where it's remaining the 0.03% of the population of the world. It has different categories or measures, about 23 different categories or subcategories on how to rank the countries. But the three significant domains are safety and security, that include homicide, violence, crime, terrorism, and all are in that domain. And the second one is ongoing conflict, such as internal conflict or external conflict and all that. And then the third domain being militarization, the expanding of military or number of troops, other weapons within the country would determine the overall grading or ranking of the countries. The Global Peace Index has published Mauritius being the 26th country, peaceful country in the world, which put it the number one African country with stable peace and security, followed by Botswana at 43 and Namibia at 50. Those are the top three African countries, but we have the Gambia, Sierra Leone, Madagascar, Zambia, Senegal, and Liberia, respectively, as top 10 countries in Africa. The index shows the global peace it's at its lowest level since 2008. The sub-Saharan country worsened about 0.17%, and many African country peace has deteriorated rather than improving compared to last year or the previous 5 or 10 years. And Kenya being ranked at 127th globally in 2025, about 2.29 dip or drop. Yeah, so Kenya is ranked at 127 globally and about 2.29% dip compared to the previous years. Ethiopia is ranked 138 global in 2025. Significant or active civil war in the last 2 years have been there in Ethiopia. So the story is mixed in general. We have those countries like that of Mauritius, Botswana, and Namibia being able to rank in highest level in Africa, and we have those sub-Saharan countries performing at their lowest. So the question is, why is that? Or I want us to paint Africa in a way that all African country could be like that of Mauritius. I believe Mauritius is now significantly benefiting from being the travel destination. There is tourism in all that aspect. With all that exposure from different continent of the world, is still benefiting or still managing to be at 26th globally, ranking at 26th. So why peace is improving in some countries and deteriorating in other parts of Africa? This is because of the strong governance, rule of law, effective law enforcement in those countries. Why is peace improving in some countries and deteriorating in some parts of Africa? This is because of the drive, strong governance, and rule of law, and effective law enforcement, security, and also for example, if we check Mauritius, Botswana have relative stable international framework or low internal conflict. We don't hear that a lot, but in other countries like that of the sub-Saharan African countries, we hear a lot of internal conflict, reduction of ongoing conflict, that could be internal war or ongoing conflict with the specific region. Low crime and less violence, protests and instabilities are not as much as in those countries. I believe the reason why Kenya has 2.29 drop compared to the previous years is because of the protest that is ongoing. It doesn't mean a protest should not go, but a protest should be peaceful, and this could only be happening from both sides, from the peaceful protesters as well as from the government. It's not a one way, it's not a government only fault, or we're not pinpointing on the government and then saying the protesters. So it should be in a way that we all could work together. The major factor for deterioration of peace, I believe, is militarization. A lot of African countries are focusing on increasing their troop members or improving on their weapons, and trust me, I believe this is unnecessary, but again, come on, that's what's happening. That's what we see in a country like that of Cameroon, Ethiopia. In these countries are ranking at 138, 137, and so on. The fact that some African countries are still top 30 globally shows the possibility, and African Union ambition is possible to achieve. Even though in the last 6 years the sub-Saharan African countries are showing significant degradation or downtrend, is worrying. Whether major African country can be stable or improve safety like that of countries of Kenya, Nigeria, Ethiopia, and also don't forget these countries, especially that of Nigeria and Ethiopia, are the most populated countries in Africa. It might not be easy to manage as soon as possible, but with the right measures that of government restructure, involving youth to that structure in general, and listening to the youth, working with the youth, the young generation, it will be possible. Inclusiveness is very important, and then shifting our war against poverty, gender-based violence, health, the deficiency in Africa in general. Those kind of things are supposed to be the war we should be against too. So I would say, as a young generation, let's make the change. We are the change that Africa needs. We need to have this kind of discussion. We need to further see what are our issues, what does the global peace index in general mean. We don't have to expect a white man to come and solve our. So the Global Peace Index gives us a powerful lens to see Africa. And 2025 tells us two main things about Africa. The shining example of that of Mauritius, Botswana, and Namibia. And then the second part is the drop in peace in sub-Saharan country, which is worrisome. How the countries peace is declining as the years goes, but this doesn't predetermine where Africa should be or will be in general. Through government reforms through government reforms inclusive of youth, strong initiative, economic opportunity, regional cooperation, in general, Africanism can revive the trend. Yeah, it can change how things are going in this direction. And so I want to say this: we have an African problem and we will find an African solution. Either we go back, check our history, or create our own, yeah, including the young generation. But we should not wait for a solution from a white man, yeah, because even this I know some people would say this global peace index is being by them might impact how they see us or how they want to portray the image of Africa, but that is on our hand. We're not even giving more attention to what's happening in our own continent, Africa, with the same people, with the same color, with the same issue. Yeah, so we need to create that Africanism and work towards solving these issues. Earlier today I read this in LinkedIn. It says something like, I don't know if I remember the exact wording, but it says, don't understand or underestimate someone else's struggle based on your strength, or something. I don't remember exactly, but what it means is that we might be going through the same challenge or struggle, but doesn't mean we have the same strength. So depending on our strength, we will take path A, path B, or path C to come out of that challenge, depending on our strength. So let's not depend on someone else's struggle. The reason I'm saying this, or why we're using this metaphor, is Africa needs to come out of this challenge, and Africa doesn't need any help from any white man, a solution. So whatever that worked in Europe doesn't mean it will work here. For centuries, as Africans, we coexisted in peace. So let's check our history. Let's review. Why are we struggling in peace? Peace is crucial. Whether you are a business person, a policy maker, or an activist, or even a concerned citizen, understand where your country stands. And what are the risks and how can you contribute to this matter positively. Peace isn't someone's job but ours.